We're signing up for the new KVK Crystal Tech, and it got me thinking on how many marches should I run, which troop type should I work on, and which I shouldn't work on. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that with two different accounts. One is going to be my main free-to-play account, and the second is the newly acquired account that I have at my disposal, where I'm going to do some spending on it. So if you're here for the first time, I'm a free-to-play content creator for Rise of Kingdoms, so consider subscribing. I already made guides about Crystal Tech we currently have in the description, and I've been using it myself over the past years. And I'm going to do the same with the new tech that's going to be in this KVK, and I'm going to hopefully carve a path for myself and for you so you can have the most effective way of being effective on the field as well. So this is my main account right now, and currently I am running 5 marches, and 3 of those marches are infantry basically. And from what I've seen so far, I think for a free-to-play, if it's possible, you should really just dial down on a single troop type. And obviously, there might be some limitations when it comes to equipment and armaments, so not everyone can do it right away. But if you can run 2 marches, I would say that is enough. And you can run maybe 1 more extra march from other troop types, like cavalry, for example, which doesn't really need that much to be effective. But in my scenario, on my main account, I'm going to run these 3 infantry marches, and I'm going to call it a day. Maybe I'll use cavalry later, but the main priority is going to be infantry, because there are a lot of good things when you dial down on a single troop type. So for example, you don't use all of your resources. So if you take a look at the hospital, so you can see here, TFI infantry requires food, wood, and gold. So I will not be using stone at all. I could maybe trade that stone away for the resources that I actually need. But if you take a look at cavalry, they require food and stone, and of course gold, and archers require wood and stone and gold. So this gives you an option to trade away one resources that you won't necessarily need as much. So there's obviously going to be a little bit less resource consumption, especially if you're going to use less marches. So you're going to be more durable in the field, I would say, because it gives you more chances of joining the field, as well as using less marches. It's also going to be more speed up saving, so you're going to be less consuming speed ups, hopefully. Now, depending on your troop combination, or whether you're using full T5 or full T4 or mix of T4 T5, the speed up required is going to vary. But obviously, by simple math, if you're using 5 marches, when you dial down to 3, you're also going to use less resources overall, which makes you more effective in the long run, but also gives you more, or say, expose you less to the risk of getting out of position. Because we know when you circle around a target, when you focus on a target, your marches usually try to spread out in a fan shape. And usually one of those marches gets out of position and gets deleted. Now, in this new KVK era format, probably won't be as punishing, but you're still going to be punished regardless. And you're going to be having a larger troop count on the field, which is going to make you fill up the hospital more and therefore use more resources to heal. And also, when it comes to city skins, you can also really have the most effective way if you're running only one troop type. So for example, I have this infantry defense skin. This is going to be very much useful, but I have this one. So this is my previous Zenith top 50, and I'm looking for the opportunity to use it to the fullest, and I think this is going to give me exactly that. So I'm excited to use it because this is going to be potentially 60% infantry attack, and attack got more valuable in this new tech. So everything kind of came together. And like I said, I'm very excited to use it and see how it does. I love the design, especially in the Nightfall. Looks really cool. But also, like I said, infantry attack got more valuable than before, especially when you take into consideration we have the pincer formation, which is the strongest formation in the game right now, and giving it more attack is definitely going to enhance it even further, especially this set, which used to be my skill damage infantry. And maybe during the KVK, I just might do another pincer formation switch, depending on how fast I can get the conversion stones, because I won't need that many, because I already have a really good piece, which I got from Silk Road. So where is it? This one. So I don't have to waste stones to switch that, even though it's really good. So there you go. Pros are you're going to use less resources overall, because you're not going to be using stone if you're using infantry to heal. You're going to be using less speed ups, depending on, of course, the troop composition you have. And also it gives you the full benefit of things like city skins, where you have the full benefit at all times. But if you go here into my other account, now the other account is a lot more flexible because it has a lot more power and it has a lot more speed ups than my main account. You can see it's quite a lot of speed ups here, but the resources obviously going to take a hit. But I can always use resources from my main account because this account is going to use cavalry. So this account, if you take a look at the marches in play, you can see they run 2 infantry, 2 cavalry, 1 archer. And I'm going to just leave archers out. You probably noticed I didn't talk about archers in my main account at all. I mentioned cavalry because, you know, cavalry is just more... it's simply better. It's more maneuverable. Has better commanders I have right now. Obviously, Emperor Q might change that. It probably will change that. But if you're running only 1 archer march, I don't think investing too much tech-wise into them is going to be a good thing overall. I'm just not going to use them. So why waste precious crystal on them? But as you can see here, I have Lucia Alex, I have Baichi Philip. I might switch things around a bit, maybe make some adjustments, but obviously the cavalry is going to be Huo Joan and Arthur William. So a lot of AoE, a lot of damage, and 4 marches. Now, what gives me the liberty to do two troop types is the fact I'm going to do suspending on this account, and I'm going to use it in a way because I'm going to really upgrade my tech on this account first to see what are the bottlenecks, what are the prerequisites for my free-to-play account, so I can carve out a path for myself and for you in order to have the most effective start to the KVK. And that is basically it. Now, when it comes to this account, I already showed the resources, but when it comes to the city skins, it doesn't really have benefit. So I can only do archers, which I'm not going to use, or I can only use infantry. And I'm going to have to stick to infantry because I don't have Twilight Falls. But even if I did have Twilight Falls, I wouldn't really benefit it too much because a lot of my marches are actually using skill damage, like William does and Huo Joan does. Rest is pretty much smite or combo. And to cut it short, if you're free to play, maybe it's the best decision to just really double down on a single troop type. I will recommend either infantry or cavalry. And if you're a spender, even if you're a spender, I don't think that going for all troop types, like 3 troop types, is going to be necessary as well. Especially if you're running 4 to 5 marches, especially if you're having like 2 really good infantry and cavalry marches. But maybe with the new arrival Emperor Q, you might have 6 marches So in that case, you probably would want to run 6 marches of each troop type, 2-2-2 configuration, and have a good day. But obviously, it's going to take more crystal, more spending to get there, and obviously more resource and speed up usage. So always take that with a precaution, because with the new tech, we're all going to have bigger troop capacities, and of course, that means more kills, but also means more resource used and speed ups consumed. So, with all that said, thank you for watching. Catch you guys in the next one.